Welcome to Puddlecast, where we discuss safety, water, environment, and career development topics. Let's jump in.
Welcome, everybody, to another Puddlecast. I'm here at AOP with Jose. How are you, Jose?
I'm great.
Good.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, well, you should be here. This is where you work.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Glad to be welcomed into my space.
yeah, well, I get a drive today, so you get to ride along. Jose, when did we start doing this, or when did you start working with AOP?
So you've been with AOP for, what, 4 years now? I joined up about 2 years ago now, October of 2022.
Okay. So Jose is probably the second most certified person.
That's uncertified.
That's uncertified. He's edited more of our stuff than a lot of people, so he's going through it. So in that time, Jose, and all the stuff that we've done, talk to me a little bit about the editing process. And for those that want to maybe produce their own training videos, like what are the things that they need to think about?
I mean, when it comes to the training, obviously, you do a very good job of it. You have everything lined out to how you want the training to be done. You have all the slides ready. You have all the pertinent information. You know exactly what you want in the video. So I think if you're looking to start your own training series, it's really important to know your audience, understand what you're going to be teaching, and really having it all structured so that you have a beginning to end of what the training is going to be.
Scoping it out is really important, right?
Yeah.
Especially from your standpoint,
Yeah,
because like when we first got involved, I use words that only stormwater people know, and
a lot of it went over my head. Yeah, I had no idea what. Obviously, the more I got to listen to it, the more I got to learn. But yeah, just really understanding the full structure before you even start, because you don't want to be caught with your pants around your ankles halfway through, where you want to add stuff or you want to subtract stuff, and if you didn't plan it properly and we didn't capture what you wanted captured, it's a lot harder to add it on than to take it away, right?
Because you're shooting it maybe on a different day with different lighting, and it doesn't to the end user, it's not fluent,
right? And
it looks real jerky. And
so I mean, you have to make sure you're wearing the same stuff, you're standing in the exact same position, otherwise you can tell that it's reshot. And then not just the quality, but the money aspect as well. We have to bring people back in, more hours of editing. A rule of thumb that we like to say is 1 hour on set recording is about 3 to 4 hours on the editing side of it.
Oh yeah, that's easy.
That's being generous on that. It can be a lot more depending on what you're going to be doing,
especially if you're going to add B-roll to it, right? Because I think what people underappreciate about B-roll is background footage to the video and things like that. And if you're trying to illustrate through a video what you're talking about, you have to go capture that.
Yeah. The most important thing of film, whether it's a movie, whether it's training videos or just a commercial, anything, is you want to show, you don't want to tell. So B-roll is the biggest thing with that is, if we're talking about BMPs, obviously everyone here knows what a BMP is, and, we'll give examples, waddles, conveyance, laying down fabrics and all that.
See
kind
all
of
the
stuff
he knows, like he's using these words. That's good.
Yeah, but so like if you don't know, you don't know, and
that's right.
You have to show. That's the biggest
picture's
rule.
worth 1,000 words. It's true.
And video is even more.
Absolutely.
Right? But that's one thing that they talked about even in their job. A video is much better than a picture because you could take a quick picture and it's not really going to show you the whole picture.
Right.
It's at a picture a lot. But yeah, it's. You have to show and not tell, and really understanding what you want as the B-roll and all the structure is huge in starting your training series. Yeah,
and scope creep is real, especially with how fast technology is moving.
Yeah,
the we could starts to creep into that pretty quick, and it's cool to explore some of that stuff, but from a budgetary standpoint, you have to be able to absorb and shift if that wasn't part of your original scope. And especially like when we've worked with other clients and we're building them custom training programs, being very precise, the client management aspect of this, and being very precise with what is the deliverable? Okay, what is the thing that we want this to accomplish, this training to accomplish? Who are we teaching it to?
Yeah.
And then trying to say how long do you want it? But here's the thing is that if we hold fast to all those, like those are hard lines in the sand. I only want this to be 5 minutes. It's only got to be to my employees and da 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 da. Eventually what they see is the first cut and they go, oh, I want this and I want this and I want this and I want this. And then all of a sudden you're back to a 10-minute video and you're not meeting the criteria.
And that's another thing to really think about is as a client or as someone wanting just videos made, you have to not just understand what's being taught in your audience, but like, what do you want as a final deliverable? Yeah. Cause if it's 5 minutes, 5 minutes can be a lot of time, but it's really not a lot of time, especially when you have a lot of big words and big information that you're trying to convey to your audience.
Don't assume that everybody knows what you're talking about. You're going to have to explain
exactly. And we do a great job with your training videos where you're obviously, what you're talking about and you're talking about it, but we have a lot of visuals, a lot of text, a lot of B-roll that goes into further explain or just delve deeper into whatever the subject matter is.
Yeah, and I think you guys do a great job in the fact that when we are putting this stuff together, as a human being, you have so many inputs that can go into you, and your brain can process it all. So you can watch something and read something and listen to something all at the same time and be getting the full context of what's being communicated.
And the beauty of this is that you evolved from going to teach classrooms to video, and the beauty of it is you're listening to it and reading it and you can pause.
Yes.
You can pause, you can rewind. The information is at your fingertips, literally. It's in your pocket, on your phone, it's at home, on your laptop or computer. And it's like you said, everything's evolving. And I think this is one of the next step in a lot of trainings. That's not going to be a lot of classroom or live. Obviously, there is going to be a live.
There's always a hand-on portion that's good for some folks.
With any training, that's a huge part of it is you want to do the hands-on because the best teacher is experience.
Right.
That's how I've always been taught. That's how I learn. And I think, you have to have the live with the training, but that's the pros of the video is you can pause it, you can rewind, you can go at your own pace.
And you don't have to travel anywhere.
And you don't have to travel. You could, again, it's in your pocket.
Yeah.
So there's just so many great aspects of this that I think everyone should consider going live training because it cuts down on labor hours as well for your trainers. You can have, all these different employees or new trainees go, for example, we use Dropbox a lot. You could create your Dropbox, have all the training videos. It's loaded as long as you have internet service and it's there at your fingertips.
Yep.
I think it's one of the best new ways to really move into the future training wise when it comes to regulations with stormwater, regulations with just about anything.
Well, and you guys, and just not just from what I do, but you work with a whole bunch of other clients. You do things like commercials and real estate, and you're doing stuff for municipalities and things like that. So
we do podcasts.
Podcasts, exactly. So I think the cool thing about what you've learned in the time that I've worked with you is not only you've become really fluent at understanding because we do so much.
Yeah, I understand your lingo a lot more.
You can parse Nathanisms and you can get that stuff out.
It's a blessing and a curse. Like with my girlfriend at home when we're driving, we'll be driving through a construction site and I'm just like, oh, look at that. Those sill fences aren't really weighed down correctly. they're falling over. Yeah,
let's go, Jose. I'm not really interested. I don't care that that's a type 2 catch basin. Move on. We need to go Christmas shopping.
Oh my God, those stockpiles aren't being properly kept.
Yeah, I'm impressed with how much you have absorbed with this, but I also know that you watch hours of it.
I mean, I make the content. I record it, I edit it, and then I deliver it.
Poor guy. This guy needs.
Yeah, again,
I got to pay for counseling sessions and all kinds of
Nick
stuff.
Nick and I are the most certified, uncertified stormwater trainers, and I could go and sample a site.
There honestly. You go. Absolutely. Let's just go back to some of these other clients that you're working with and talk about, for folks that may be interested in creating a training program or reaching out or even making a commercial, talk me through the process that they need. They're going to scope this out and they're going to give you ideas and you're going to sort of put a parameter and a budget around it. Now we got to go to execution. So talk to me about what that means to them. What are they going to have to do to execute it? And you can make up a hypothetical, but like talk through that.
So
process.
execution wise, I will emphasize that the biggest part of this is just planning.
Yeah.
As me working with clients, whether it's real estate, a wedding, training videos, or whatever it may be, talking with your client is the biggest step there, because from there you're going to learn what they're looking for, what style they're looking for. Is there any specific things that you want to make sure that is in the video? From there, you plan the production itself, right? Is it going to be an inside shoot, outside shoot? As a filmer, you have to worry about light and where you're getting your light. Is it sunlight? Do we need to bring filler lights? And again, location is one thing. The actual shooting of it, right? So you have to have the cameras record it all. Depending on how long the trainings are, it could be one if it's a short hour and we just recording a 30-minute video, and then cutting that down to 15 minutes. Or it could be a lot longer if it's a long series. So it's hours of production, filming itself. And like I said, rule of thumb, it's about 4 or 5 hours, give or take, on back end for every production hour that we did. And then not just that, but we have to go back and add B-roll. We have to go and add text. We have to fix the audio. We have to do color corrections and color grading, which then just adds more and more hours.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the biggest thing is understand that it is a budget that you have to consider.
And I think you have to, you have to express that. Like there need to be benchmarks within the production schedule. Like at 70%, you're going to get to say, tell us what you like about this, or cut these things out, or do whatever. And you have different criteria at each one of those benchmarks. And I know for me, when I get busy, I have to dedicate real time to do the editing process because you may not know how I want to message it. So I'm actually editing the message part of it.
Exactly.
And if it doesn't get expressed correctly, you're working off of assumptions because I'm not participating. I found it with working with clients that if they don't actively participate in the editorial process, people get really potentially disappointed at the end because they say, why didn't you do that? Oh, that was 2 edit cycles ago that needed to be corrected.
And that's the planning portion is make your client aware of exactly the editing. I can give you the raw version of it. All the ums and uhs are cut out, all the mess ups are cut out, and now we just have the raw information. From there, you as the client have to ensure that the information is all pertinent and needs to be there, or the supporting B-roll or text needs to be there, and that usually will happen in the first and second revision. And then that's emphasized. You need to take the time to edit this.
They have to be an active participant.
Exactly. It's a partnership, right? We do the editing, but you give the vision and you know what it needs to be. So there needs to be open communication. We keep you updated with everything. This is what's done. This is what is on your plate, basically. A lot of the times we'll play tag with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where we try to dump as much on your plate.
And then I try to throw it all back.
Yeah, exactly.
It literally is a flood of things going back and forth. And I'll just say it from my perspective too. It's really important that I have a secondary editorial process on my side. So you've created the video production, but I want to make sure that what I'm communicating, if I'm the communicator and the editor, a lot of times in my head, I'm making assumptions that everybody knows what I'm talking about. I need somebody else to listen to what I'm saying. Did what I say make sense? And because it makes sense to me.
Yeah. No, on your side as the client, you should definitely have a third party unbiased person that can go through it. Like let's say a potential trainee can listen into your training and say, I didn't understand this. I didn't get what you were trying to get at, or this made perfect sense. And I'll even do that as an editor with my my girlfriend. I'll be like, hey, how does this look? Does this look correct? Does it sound correct? And then, I think it should just be both sides. On our side, we have our checks to make sure that everything that you asked of is there. And then on your side, you should also watch it yourself and make sure that it's what you want, but also have someone to give you an unbiased opinion of, this is a good training, or this is missing this, or this needs to be taken away.
Because the time to do that's early in the editorial process. Because once we go to final color and we go to final sound and all that kind of stuff, at that point you're pretty much fixed. And to go back would be to unwind.
You can exactly. You can go back, but it's going to take quite a bit of more time to. Yes. And that's just going to add to the editing hours, which, honestly can get expensive because it's easy, but it's not easy. It's you can use an iPhone or any phone to edit something quickly, and it's pretty simple. But when you're getting to this level of editing, it does take a higher skill set and time.
Well, and being organized too, because there's nothing more frustrating than our B-roll.
And so actually we're currently doing that right now.
I know, that's what Nick was saying. Is like, you guys are taking, we've been working with them for 4 or 5 years now. And I take a lot of clips when I'm out doing stuff and I don't name them. So there's a repository of B-roll clips that are by date or whatever. It's a horrible way to.
That's another piece that I will say is something that I've had to learn the hard way. I know Nick has had to learn the hard way. We're currently organizing everything right now. But make sure you're completely organized as soon as. But before you get to your shoot, you should have a shot list ready of what you want to capture, the stuff that needs to get captured, and then a list of I want to capture. Like if you're doing a creative shoot, a real estate wedding, you should have the stuff that you need to get. And then if you're obviously wanting to get better, you should try different stuff. This is what I want to get.
Right.
Need to get needs to happen. Want to get is you're practicing your creative flow or practicing something new. But then during the shoot, make sure it all gets captured. After the shoot, this is the most important. Make sure you're dropping your footage in 2 different spots, right? You have your main drive where you're going to be working from, and you should generally have at least one other backup drive in case anything happens. Stuff does happen. There's acts of God where stuff gets corrupted, stuff gets deleted accidentally. Whatever the case, we do work with technology, and
we've had to redo a couple projects. You get corrupt files, and you got to start all over again,
and stuff like that happens. We had this was about a year and a half ago. About a year ago, we had someone we were potentially bringing on as an intern. And this person unplugged one of our drives without ejecting it correctly, and it corrupted one of the old files that we had to recreate completely from scratch. And obviously it had to get done, so we did it. But that took another week to recreate that. So,
and that's the other part about the shoot too, is like just shoot more than you think you're gonna ever use. Just shoot it all, because
you can take away, but you can't add something that's not there.
That's
and then so make sure that it's dropped and backed up somewhere else, and then from there organize everything. Make sure you have your A cam. This is going to be the main. The B cam. This is going to be the backup.
So talk about that just a second, about the importance of whether or not you're going to just use 1 cam or 2 cam. What's the advantage of a 2 cam or 3 cam angle?
1 cam, you can do this obviously, but you can zoom in and out to cut, right? So let's say I'm talking and I say actually I messed up, I need to restart that. I can cut all of that out by zooming in, right, and it's a new angle, so you can do that. It does look
fluent to the user, but it's a visual cut it
can
crops out the stuff.
It can look a little wonky, and then when you add a second cam, it's a lot more fluent. And you'll see this in reality shows. If you watch any reality show out there, they'll go from talking head on to an angle where it's from the side, and that's usually because they're cutting out stuff that they don't want aired, stuff that they don't want watched, or a mess up, or whatever the case. So it makes everything look really fluent. We've taken clients that cannot speak in front of a camera, and that's okay. Some people can, some people can't. But we've taken those people and made it sound like it's one long breath, and everything made sense. Everything sounded cohesive. So that's
the other thing about, and the other thing is, especially like action shots, or when we're trying to do something like a spill demo, it's critical you have multiple camera angles, because you got one chance to do this, right? And this action's going to happen. It's going to happen fast. and we're going to have to make enough cuts into this to tell the story.
Nick and I, we always have this joke. There's this movie, I don't know if you've watched it, Big Fat Liar.
Yeah, you bet.
There's the director, there's like 12 different camera angles. The more camera angles that you can afford to do,
sure,
the better it is. Because the more you can capture, the better you can cut, make everything look really fluent, and it'll generally be a much better product at the end if you're able to do that. And then again, label everything. Make sure everything's organized. A cam, B cam, B-roll, text, slides, logos, all that stuff. You want to make sure that you know exactly where it is, so you're not spending hours looking.
Searching for that one shot that you did on a drive to Ellensburg that was 3 years ago, that was along with some other stuff that you know is there in a file somewhere that you need.
Yeah, and it's the more organized you are, the better your future self is gonna be.
That's right. Well, Jose, it's been a pleasure to work with you.
Yeah.
I'm the growing together through this process has been awesome. You guys have grown and expanded, and you got your nice studio here, and you're doing so many new things. And you are a certified person that I would trust to go out and do that stormwater stuff, because you have heard it so many bajillion times.
Let me know.
Yeah. But if people want to get involved with you guys and they want to start talking about discussion of producing a video or doing podcasts, how do they get a hold of you guys?
Yeah. So again, we do podcasts. We have a full studio that we can rent out, or we can just come consult and give you ideas. You can find us at apertureoceanproductions.com, or you can email me directly at jose@apertureoceanproductions.com.
Thanks again, man.
Yeah.
Catch you again on the next Puddlecast.
Thank you to today's special guest. Join us again on the next Puddlecast.